should be taking my mind off of all of this. Right? Remember, boys, finish the mission at any cost. Okay, everyone. After some time passes, Monica comes out of the club room. Why don't we share our poems now? Before I know it, everything is back to normal. Everyone goes to retrieve their poems, and I do the same. I make eye contact with Monica, and she smiles. And she smiles at me. I wonder what she's talking about, what she was talking about with Sayori. I wonder too. But since Yuri's right in front of me, I might as well share that poem with her, even though it's about lust and romance. But that might get her really hot in her pants after what just happened. I don't want to rush into Sayori because that's striking while the iron's hot. In a lot of cases. And that might not be good. Emi's route in Katawa Shoujo taught me that, and I know that. Sometimes, if you chase it, you're gonna break it. So, we'll leave Sayori alone for right now. And so, what we're going to do is we're gonna, since we're logically sitting here talking to Monica, rather, not Monica, Yuri, we're gonna show Yuri the poem first, because that seems perfectly logical, even if it's, like, it's not necessarily inherently biased. I'm a person that works on immediate convenience in some cases. If something in front of me is easier, I'll just do that. I'm a very sentimental person, but however, in a lot of cases, the way situations flow naturally in front of me is so quickly and so, well, so unpredictably that I'm basically just kind of forced to do what's in front of me, and that's about it. Sometimes it makes me feel like I'm a bit dense, but I'm starting to sort of accept that about myself recently. But let's go show Yuri about our adventure of lust. Adventure. I was experimenting. So Yuri, here's my porn. What do you think about it? Why not porn? Actually, no. It's porn, but it's metaphors. It's lots of metaphors. You like metaphors, right? Yeah. Well done, Fontelman. Why, thank you, Yuri. You've definitely improved your writing over the course of these days. Has my advice been helpful to you? Yes, it has. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad. Sharing our writing like this, it's a lot more fun and rewarding than I anticipated. I need to remember to thank Monica. I think we all felt awkward. Oh, a little awkward at first. But now it seems like everyone is enjoying sharing their writing and seeing what others think. I guess I can't really disagree. I was afraid this whole thing would be a chore. But it's a great way for me to spend some personal time with all the girls in the club. And me. But it's been fun getting to know everyone and their writing. Well, actually, no. I suppose that was me, but it didn't have my name on it. That's weird. Going back, like, as post. That's odd. Sorry, I kind of lays out like that. I'm not reading them with the right character since I'm not looking up enough to see the name tag. In some cases. Tunnel vision. My bad. And I guess doing some of the writing itself, or doing some of the writing myself, well... Have you learned anything about yourself, Fontelman? Yeah, I have. Well, I don't think I can comfortably write simply, so Natsuki's probably gonna hate me forever. And I have a tendency to shoot for, well, maybe things outside of my comfort zone, or rather, outside of somewhat the obvious choices in front of me. Overperform in a lot of cases, which is why I'm staring at Yuri, who's definitely a better writer than me, but I was obviously trying to get certain things from her by going certain places. Some certain places that seem natural. However, it's kind of hard to ignore how much I was resonating with Sayori back there by also doing the same thing. So, what I learned about myself, what I learned in Doki Doki Literature Club is I make some really bad problems for myself concerning women. That's what I learned. And other than that, I learned a lot of little small things as well. Well, you know how I like to say that writing is a very personal way to get in touch with yourself? Yeah. In the end, it doesn't matter if you're a good writer or a bad writer. Please continue, woman. And even my opinions are just opinions. You know. As always, I believe what's most important is exploring and discovering yourself. Monica... sorry, not Monica. Why is that name stuck in my head? Yuri, if I could sit down and tell you all the things that I tried to do. Oh, boy. See, that's the questionable thing about this situation. Sayori is attached to me. And I don't want to see her suffer. But Yuri is educated, and she also understands parts of things that resonate with me. Not necessarily in character right now, but resonate with me as me going forward. Like with me right here. Me as the player, not the player character. Like, she's speaking my language. So she understands. And having a woman that understands is just as enticing as seeing a woman in trouble that I can help. I feel like Well, Yuri, your poem about the raccoon, maybe that can work both ways, huh? Gratification, huh? Becoming slowly addicted to somebody who's enjoying me expressing myself. Boy, that's a good one, Doki Doki Literature Club. Goddamn. Still, though, Sayori. If I had it my way, I'd figure out something good with Sayori. I wouldn't leave her ever. But if I could find a way to make it so I wouldn't have to come in there and basically dig into her soul to salvage her. If I could find a way to do that and still have Yuri, I'd do it. But I may need to save my wingman. Being a romantic man is tough. That's comforting. It is. I'm kind of afraid of disappointing you in some way or another. Yeah, she is smarter than me with writing, and she is very reserved and intelligent, so yeah, disappointing her would be very bad. That would not reflect kindly on my self-confidence. Why me? Because I respect your opinion and I like you and I want to hold hands with you? Well, you're always sophisticated with your writing and have the most advice to share. Is that so? ... diddly ... Yuri thinks for a good minute. That must be terrible. Eh? For me to have become someone whose opinion is fearsome. Yuri, you're a very terrifying person underneath all that hair, you know that? How unlikable of me. You know, Yuri, we could fix that pretty easily. But however, things look a bit difficult. So, you know, it's not like we're graduating high school anytime soon here. So, stick around a couple of years, we might make something work. Yuri, it's not as bad as you're making it sound in your head. I just meant that I respect your opinion. I see. I'm sorry that I always overthink and come to those sorts of conclusions. Woman, do your thing. I'm just a little too used to it. I know how that feels. Overthinking? Fuck, that's my middle name. Being disliked. Oh. Yuri. You might be cold and you might be somewhat hard to get along with, but you kind of extended a hand in friendship to me, and, well, you haven't fucked it up yet, so, what am I saying? You're saying that, saying people don't like you. Or you think people don't like you. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. It's okay. Let's move on. Alright. Do you want to share your poem now? Okay. Here. Okay, so let's look at this now, through all of that. Beach. A marvel millions of years in the making, where the womb of the earth chaotically meets the surface. Under a clean blue sky, an expanse of bliss. But beneath gray rolling clouds, an endless enigma. The easiest world to get lost in. I thought I said word, but no, world. Goddamn cursive. The easiest world to get lost in is one where everything can be found. Yeah, having a million billion options can be frustrating. And then, well, if you have that many options, nothing really tells you if anyone's the right one. They may say, oh, well, it doesn't matter then, but no, it can matter. It can certainly matter. One can only build a sandcastle where the sand is wet. But where the sand is wet, the tide comes. Will it gently lick at your foundations until you give in? Or will a sudden wave send you crashing down in the blink of an eye? Either way, the outcome is the same. Yet we still build castles in the sand. Sand castles. I stand where the foam wraps around my ankles, where my toes squish into the sand. The salty air is therapeutic. The breeze is gentle yet powerful. I sink my toes into the ultimate boundary line, tempted by the foamy tendrils. Turn back, and I abandon my peace to a road at the shore. Drift forward, and I return to the earth forevermore. It would seem like, well, she's very pessimistic about certain options. The sandcastle thing, well, yeah, we can only go, yeah, it's getting at, well, it's like saying, you know, at the end of your life you die. Everyone dies. Or something of that nature. Being that kind of ultimate about everything, where it's like no matter what happens, you're gonna die. And then that kind of erodes at the point or enthusiasm behind getting into things. Which makes your life soulless and empty and suck. But, well, it still seems like she wants to do something, yet she's still unsure of its. Well, she's still unsure if it's actually gonna mean anything. She wants to feel like this thing that she's waiting for means something, but she has no idea if it's actually going to end well. Well, I could make assumptions here, but, well, let's see where the game actually goes. We're in it very, very deep now. So, well, at least I think so. I'm at 8 hours of Doki Doki. Holy shit. But, yeah. Well, she wants something, but let's see exactly what that is. Is it hand-holding? God, I hope it's hand-holding. I'm aware that the beach is kind of an inane thing to write about. Not at all. It brings to mind pleasant imagery. But I did my best to take a metaphorical approach to it. Okay, so right. She brought an inane environment and used metaphors to make it interesting because metaphors make it interesting to her. Right. She's a lot more colorful in that than I will ever be in my entire life with those kinds of metaphors. But, wow. Yeah, that's kind of what she does, doesn't it? She just uses metaphors in order to make things seem more interesting or thought-provoking or imagery-inducing. You say that like you didn't even want to write about it. Oh, you haven't heard? After yesterday, Natsuki and I, well, it was amusing that we wrote about something similar in such different ways. So Natsuki wanted us to write about the same topic as each other again. Ah. I suppose to better compare the differences in our writing styles or thought processes. Anyway, it was her idea. Well, I'm glad that you two are getting along. Knowing her, it's no surprise that she'd want to do something like that. She probably just wants to show off. She can be very smart, I've seen. I fell for her trap. She can be very, very intelligent, but, maybe a little bit too uncomfortably direct in some certain circumstances, don't you think? It's not like I have a particular interest in her writing style. I just went with her request. Trying to be friends? Well, that's perfectly fine if it's really true. But, well, I suppose it's not so bad to write about something simple on occasion. This is true. It can be refreshing, you know? It's good for me to calm my thoughts once in a while. Well, yeah. My problem is I don't have any reassurance on any of my writing at all in a lot of cases. I get some, but it's never been tested fully and publicly. It's never been put to the ultimate test there. Sure, I'd like to write about something simple once in a while. Something I know people are gonna like, and then just write it out and feel better, feel nice about doing it. Feel guilt-free about getting it done, because I know exactly I know exactly what the people are gonna want. I know exactly what people are gonna want to see and what people are gonna like. And in a lot of cases, that helps me like the things that I like better or easier. Because in a lot of cases, I wouldn't even write this stuff down in certain circumstances because it's already in my head. I enjoy it in my head. I wouldn't even need to take it out. But I do want to express things because I want to show people how much, impress upon people the enthusiasm that I have. The only problem is, I don't want to do it in a way that people won't resonate with. That's a very difficult thing. Very, very, very difficult thing. But people would knock me probably for trying too hard and focusing on other people and not on myself through the creative process. I suppose that's fair. But at the end of the day, whether or not my work is good it's decided by me, but it's carried by other people. I can decide if my work is good to myself, but then that's just me. If I write something only I like, then only I like it and it's not really going to go anywhere except for myself. That's not what I want to accomplish. But, yeah, Yuri, you got the right idea. Yeah, I think I agree. You see, Yuri's nice, she speaks my language, she's also reassuringly informed. She basically knows she's a competent writer, and she knows the breadth and width of this stuff. Or at least a rudimentary amount of it. I kind of do not. So it's reassuring to have someone of this caliber being so, well, inviting towards this entire idea of me. I suppose that's what I was looking for in a lot of ways. And also, she seems to understand exactly what I'm going on about in some cases. Or rather, she talks like she'd understand it if I tried to explain it. Sayori, though, apparently I'm more unconsciously linked with Sayori, says the video game. But this is going to be a difficult choice. Thanks for sharing. Really, thanks for sharing. Okay, so we're gonna go talk to Monika now. Hi, Fontaman. Have you thought about what you want to submit to perform at the festival? Well, being in this club is one thing, but performing in front of a bunch of people, I'll have to give it some more thought. Okay, no pressure. But whatever you do, I'm sure it'll turn out great. It would also make me happy to see. Anyway, let's take a look at today's poem. You know what I'm thinking? You know what I'm thinking? If they don't make me write a specific poem for the festival itself, they may have me choose based on the ones that I've written currently. And then I'd have to choose exactly which one gets the most points with the most girls. So I believe my first one resonated really strongly with Yuri, and my second one resonated very strongly with Sayori. And the second one's kind of in the middle. Or the third one's kind of in the middle. I think, anyway. Or rather, the third one was the most effective. I have no idea. Either way, a lot of those have... I think all of them have a lot of Sayori points in them. So I could kind of freely go about it. Sure. I let Monika take the poem I'm holding in my hands. ... It's pretty good, Tilda. Wow. Cleverly disguised porn is flying very, very well. It makes me think of Sayori, like the other ones. It's like the other one you wrote. All of them? How does that work with all of them, though? All of the damn things? But then again, yeah, I do get a lot of Sayori points no matter how much I escape it. Whether I try it, I sort of unconsciously or consciously try to see, it's like, okay, so what's not gonna get me a Sayori point? Or like, I'd be metaphorical in the way I want it to be metaphorical. That just leans back to Sayori more than, well, more than Yuri. Oh boy. You two are like the dynamic duo, yeah. Solo Wing Sayori and, well, Showman. Haha, that's kind of exaggerating it. Yeah, probably. But you do spend a lot of time with her, even in this club, don't you? Then again, I don't blame you for being a little shy. I'm not shy, it's just... Haha, I'm just teasing you, skirt flip. I know it takes a bit of time to make friends with everyone, but Yuri and Natsuki are super interesting people, so don't be afraid to give them their share of time. I've been giving Yuri a lot of time. Natsuki, not so much because he just yells at my shit all damn day, and I don't really want to deal with it. I get enough of her walking around. And you can talk to me every now and then, too. I'm not, like, unapproachable or anything, am I? No, Monika, actually quite the opposite. You're a safe option. Ah, no, it's nothing like that. It's just I'm just still getting used to being here, that's all. Yeah. I'm sorry if I was putting pressure on you or something. I really didn't mean it like that. No, don't worry. I get what you're saying. Well, alright. Tilda. Anyway, I'll share my poem with you now. Okay. Okay, alright. Same thing. Alright. The Lady Who Knows Everything. An old tale tells of a lady who wanders the earth. The lady who knows everything. A beautiful lady who has found every answer, all meaning, all purpose, and all that was ever sought. And here I am, a feather, lost adrift the sky, victim of the currents of the wind. Day after day I search. I search with little hope, knowing legends don't exist. But when all else has failed me, when all others have turned away, the legend is all that remains, that last dim star glimmering in the twilight sky. Until one day the wind ceases to blow, I fall, and I fall, and fall, and fall even more, gentle as a feather. A dry quill, expressionless. But a hand catches me between the thumb and forefinger, the hand of a beautiful lady. I look at her eyes, and find no end to her gaze. The lady who knows everything knows what I am thinking. Before I can speak, she responds in a hollow voice. I have found every answer, all of which amount to nothing. There is no meaning, there is no purpose, and we seek only the impossible. I am not your legend. Your legend does not exist. And with a breath, she blows me back afloat, and I pick up a gust of wind. Huh. I suppose you can take that as a story about keeping out hope of looking for something, but never, well, having it come after an immense amount of suffering and holding on, coming to the point where you actually find the thing that you are looking for, that you believe, but it's not the thing that you are looking for. And then you have to go and find a way back, or rather, find a way to continue on after that. I suppose in this case, again, existential crisis, but, okay. Monica, you're very, very depressing, you know that? Alright. Well, at least you picked up on a gust of wind, then. See how far you fly. Find something new. You know, I feel like learning and looking for answers are the sorts of things that give life meaning. Not to get too philosophical or anything, but it was kind of on my mind, so that's why I wrote about it. Okay, I see. I never really put much thought into it. I do, but I'm kind of hackneyed in actually doing that. Because video game Fonto is not, I don't have the same sophistication, I don't have a more sophisticated thing than video game Fontoman. And video game Fontoman is, again, a dumbass. In a way, it's almost paradoxical. Because if we had all the answers, wouldn't the world start to lose its meaning? Well, I suppose you can look at that, but I suppose in that case, the only meaning the world has is the human condition and the fact that we have to look for things. But if we find all the things, we know where all the places are for everything, and the purposes of everything become entirely clear. And we know everything as it stands. That's not meaningless. That's just reality staring you in the face, then. If you know all the answers, you know the purpose of everything. So everything has a purpose and I suppose a meaning. But then again, well, it depends on what the answer is, honestly, for the context. You can kind of sit there and talk about if we knew everything about the world, it wouldn't have no meaning, but honestly, that's just putting emphasis on the need to discover things. The need to go out and look for things that you don't know about, or the need to find something new or fresh or something like that. But if we had all the answers, we'd be able to ask ourselves what makes us happy, and then we'd be happy. But it seems like happiness on its own like that doesn't seem to stretch out, or rather represent the same if you say you know everything. It doesn't represent the same thing. So, realistically speaking, it's basically, you want to look at that, it's basically how much weight you put on the human condition, I suppose. Yeah, it makes for a good story and a good adventure, I suppose, not really knowing, but also terrifying, and also, well, we wouldn't need to go on adventures if we could find exactly what we needed in the first place. And well, the world might be a bit boring from our perspective, but the world would be a very different place if we knew everything. So perhaps we wouldn't be bored. Perhaps we would be able to find the things, or maybe actually create meaning rather than fussing over if we are actually creating meaning, or that meaning was there to begin with, or maybe it's the wrong meaning that we're trying to apply to it. Again, the fact that you don't know for sure seems to be the only endearing thing that you would want here, and then thus, without that, the world starts to lose this meaning, apparently, according to Monica here. At least that's what I'm taking from it. I may be adult, but I've been playing a wholesome visual novel for about 8 hours. So, this is the way I see it. Not necessarily. You know, there's one thing I noticed. It seems like everyone in this club prefers writing about things that are more sad than happy. This is true, and Monica's like, well, Monica's the queen of this. Though, I think Yuri's raccoon is a little bit more upstanding, I suppose. I mean, yeah, it's looking down at herself for it, but you know what? At least she's being happy about it, but it's that grimy sort of happy where it's self-indulgence. And, like, self-indulgence for a self-conscious person never really feels right. I know that. But, well, that's what makes you happy. That's what makes you happy. Ahaha, are you surprised? People are depressed, Fonto. You should know this. I mean, if everything was okay, we wouldn't really have anything to write about, would we? Would we? True, but we could still come up with escapism as well. But yes, gotta have a little bit of black with a little bit of white, I suppose, in that case. But again, if everything was okay, again, the world would be a different place. It depends on exactly what the hell's going on. We'd be different people. We'd come up a different way. And, well, I don't think we can properly answer that. So, I suppose that's a little bit sort of... Well, it's interesting to bring up that question, but at the end of the day, you can never really find a determinable answer. If that's what you were looking for, an indeterminable answer, yeah, sure, that's a... I suppose it's not a hard wall, it's a mist where you can't see anything behind it. So, if that's what you're looking for to stop thinking and stop worrying about things, well then there you go. Humans aren't two-dimensional creatures, but my waifus are, and that's why they're better than three-dimensional creatures. I think you'd know that better than anyone. You mean one-dimensional? Ah, yeah, that. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Are you ever too shy to share your writing because you're afraid that it's not good? Yes, Monica? It can be really disheartening to get a lukewarm response to something you put so much into. Yes, Monica? But if you find other people who enjoy writing, then sharing becomes a lot easier. This is also true, Monica. Because instead of just telling you that your writing is good or bad, good or okay or bad, they'll want to focus more on everything that went into it and the things you can work on. That's a bit wobbly for certain things, but yes, I'd like to believe that'd be a nice thing. I'm not gonna say that the people who I know that got me into writing and then sort of slowly started to teach me writing, and then in some cases stopped, in other cases kept me going in certain areas. Yeah, they were helpful. They were really helpful, but I don't think that's the only thing they focused on the entire time. It's much more encouraging that way, and it will make you want to continue improving. It's almost like having your own little literature club, don't you think? That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. Thanks, Monica.